What up, sis? Welcome back to A Narcissist's Kid, where we are bringing light to daughters of narcissistic mothers to break chains of toxic family cycles. Sis, I have a question. Don't you hate when you're going through it with your mom and y'all not on speaking terms and someone has the nerve to say, oh, well, you only have one mother, or my favorite, honor thy mother and thy father. Or another favorite, can't you just figure out how to work with her? Can't you just figure out how to please her? I mean, you know your mother by now, don't you? Yeah, I know her, which is why I'm not talking to her. Don't you know her? Haven't you experienced the same thing? Didn't she just say something to you the other day? That was crazy. And you coming to me, asking me why I'm not talking to her? What? Why? Why would I be talking to her? Just because you thought it was okay that what she said and you got over it? That's fine with you? Well, that's not fine with me. And I'm not about to keep going through with it. I'm not at all. Sit there and you say to yourself, well, you really think I want it to be like this? Don't you know I want a healthy relationship with my mom? Don't you think I want that? Why wouldn't you think I want that? Don't you think I want my mom? Don't you have your mom? I don't have my mom. Do you know how much I've tried in this relationship? Like, I'm alone here. She doesn't want the relationship. I want the relationship and I'm looking crazy. So what you want me to do, sis? What is it? Because this ain't it. Oh, and then my favorite. Well, you only have one mother. What you gonna do when she laying on her deathbed? Well, I've done all that I can. That's her that's not wanting to reconcile. That's her acting like she don't want to have this relationship. That's not me. It's on her as well. It's not just me in the relationship. I'm not the one that does wrong every single time. No, I'm not perfect, but talk to her like you're talking to me. I'm trying to get this right. Talk to her too, you know? But then you think like, well, you know what she's done to me. You know the crazy things that she has said. And then it's like, these same people are the ones that you have called before, telling them about something your mom has done or said to you that's crazy. And then they still looking at you like you're in the wrong. No. I mean, hello? And I hate when people act like they blind, like they can't see how this lady is acting. I just told you I get anxious and I just had to break out of a depression because dealing with what she just said to me. Let me tell y'all an example. Let me tell y'all something that has happened to me. This is a transparent moment. My brother was playing college basketball and he had a game uptown and it was going to be kind of a late game. And I wasn't living with my mother at the time. I had my two daughters that were, I believe, Ollie was a baby, I remember, and Mackenzie was maybe about 4 or 5, something like that. And I was about 23, 24. At the time, I didn't have a car. I had to take the bus. My mom had invited me to my brother's basketball game. And I was like, I'm amped. I'm ready to go see my brother play basketball. This is his first time playing college basketball. And I'm amped to go see my brother play basketball, right? I'm coming to this game. And so I made sure that she was going to take me back home with the girls because the buses weren't running by the time the game was going to be over. So I had to make sure I had a way to get back home. Ollie was a baby at the time, like car seat infant baby at the time. And of course the only thing I could take with me was the stroller and the diaper bag and Mackenzie. And then I had Mackenzie with me as well. Everything went well. Then it was time to leave the game. So I'm walking with my family to the car and talking to my brother before he's leaving to get back on the bus to go back to school. So getting ready to get in the car in the parking lot. And my mom goes, well, where's the girls' car seats? Did you bring the car seats with you? No, I didn't bring the car seats with me, Mom. How am I supposed to bring the car seats with 2 babies? I already got a stroller and this big old diaper bag. How am I supposed to carry all this on a bus? And then walk. Then I had to walk to the game. So how am I supposed to do that and walk to the game? That's too much. Did you really expect me to bring car seats? 2 car seats? Really? So she was like, well, how else did you think we're going to get back home without car seats? You know I can't drive them without car seats. Yeah, but first of all, I would have thought that you would have had some car seats for them, knowing that I'm on the bus with your 2 granddaughters. And I'm still confused. What did you expect? How did you really think I was going to carry 2 car seats on a bus, a public bus? What? And then you weren't even trying to meet me at the bus stop. So what did you want me to do? She goes, well, it's not safe to drive with them with no car seats. I can't do that. I'm not going to get pulled over and get arrested because they're not in car seats. Okay, well, I don't have a ride. These buses have stopped. So what you want us to do? I mean, how are we going to get home? You said you were going to take us home after the game, and that's what I was expecting. And now it's 12 o'clock, 12 o'clock right now, Ma. What do you want me to do? Well, I don't know what you're going to do. I don't know. Maybe find one of your friends that can maybe come get you or something. Come get me? But you're standing right here. You can't just take us home to make sure that we're safe. It's dark outside. It's cold outside. It's December. What how do you want me? I have your granddaughters here. You're gonna leave me with your granddaughters? She was like, well, I don't know, figure it out. What? Figure it out? By then, the gym is closed. You know, everything's closing down, so there's nowhere else for us to go but to walk to a security office that I had to find. And she left. My stepfather, right along with it, didn't say a word. They left. So I'm sitting there with my 2 girls out in the cold. I just watched them drive off. She never called me to make sure we were all right. She never called me to make sure that we got in the house safe. Nothing. When I say I was so hurt, I could not believe what my mom had just did. Like, she literally left me, not just me, forget me, her 2 grandbabies. Babies. They were babies at the time. Aliana was an infant. Mackenzie had to be no more than 4 at that time. And she left us in this parking lot. I had no idea where to go or nothing. And she just left us in this parking lot in the cold. Things like that. This is why I had to stop talking to my mother. She made it easy for me to stop talking to her. Things like that. Calling DSS on me because I don't have a job. And saying that my girls are being neglected just because you know that I don't have a job. I'm not working right now. You know I'm trying to find a job. Now, I'm not no, lazy bum here with 2 kids living in somebody else's house. No, that's not me. Okay? I just felt on hard times. Yes, when they had went over my mom's house, you know, their clothes were a little bit too small, but that was because I was trying to find a job, get to where we're going, you know, and find a place. So all of this is happening while she has brand new clothes sitting in her house that all she has to do is give to the girls. But no, she needs them for her house only. So DSS comes to the door asking for me. Yes, how may I help you? Oh, well, we got a report for neglect. Neglect? Who called you for neglect? I'm not neglecting my kids. Oh, well, we need to see your kids just to make sure, you know, they have what they need, and we need to see the room and see where they sleep, and we have to keep the case open for 6 weeks just to make sure that everything in the home is okay. What? And so when the caseworker was explaining to me what my mom had reported, at the time I didn't really know who reported it, because when you have a DSS case, they're not allowed to tell you who, where the report came from. So I'm sitting here listening to the report, and I'm like, that sounds like my mom. And of course she asked, well, would you know anyone who would have reported this? Yeah, my mom. I'm not sure why she did that. Right now, I'm not working, no, and I don't have my own place, but we're not homeless. You know, they're not starving. They're not being abused. They're definitely not being neglected. Okay, their clothes may be a little bit too small, but dang, okay. They're not being neglected. I'm not harming them. So I will never forget when the caseworker told me, after I explained to her how my mom was, she goes, maybe you need to stay away from your mother. You need to just end that relationship. When I say I was taken aback, I had never heard that from anyone. No, nobody. Especially a DSS caseworker. Never would have even guessed that somebody would have said something like that. So just be careful when you ask somebody that isn't getting along with their mother why they're not dealing with their mother, and because they only got one mother and all this other stuff. Yeah, that may be true that we only have one mother. It may be true that you don't want to wait till the last minute and she's on her deathbed and trying to make amends. While that may be all true, we definitely don't want to have this relationship just to continuously be abused either. And I refuse to continue to allow my mother to drag me down, put me down, make me feel less than. And that has been since I was a child. Even though I didn't know that she was a narcissist or that she had a mental disorder, I could still sense that there was something wrong, that this environment was not right. I could still sense and feel that I needed to get out of that environment, even though I could not leave because I was too young. I definitely picked up the phone, called whoever. My grandparents was the first one I called. All the time I was trying to be at my grandparents' house just to get away from her, because every chance I got, like almost every weekend, I was asking, can I come over, please? Can you come get me? Please, somebody come get me right now. Boy, and they say yes, boy, I be running to go pack my bags. Do you hear me? Be ready, looking out the window. You don't even have to come in. Let's go. And then when you stop talking to your mom and you got a little something together, like, you know, you maybe got your own place when before you was homeless or you was staying with somebody else, you didn't have a job and stuff, and you had to depend on your mom. Remember when you had to depend on her for everything? You was asking her to keep your kids while you had to go to work. Whatever that you asked her for, you had to depend on her. And that's what she likes to see. You have to depend on her. Okay? And so once you got your job and you making all this good money, and then you finally got your car, and you finally got your house, your apartment, whatever, and she looking, she like, oh, she thinks she don't need me no more. Oh, okay. So then when you go back to ask her for a favor, and she give you that stink look now, and she want to be nasty just to be nasty, or she cut you off for getting your stuff, for getting yourself together, because she no longer can control you. She can no longer control what you're doing. She can no longer control how much money you're spending. She can no longer control where you're going. She can no longer control nothing. I'll tell you another transparent moment I had with my mom. This is when I was pregnant with my oldest daughter. I was about 7 months pregnant. I was living with my father in Texas at the time and had came back to live with my mom. Registered for school at JCSU. Hey to all my JCSU fam. I was planning to go back to school in the fall, even though I was pregnant. And I was just going to finish what I could out. And my mom had told me that I could stay with her. Not even 3 days in that I had came back home, she was ready to kick me out at 7 months pregnant. She wanted me to give my daughter up for adoption against my will. Now, I had no idea how I was going to take care of this baby. I really did not know how I was going to take care of this baby. But I knew for sure I wasn't about to give her up. I knew for sure I was going to make a way. However it was going to happen, it was going to happen. I was going to make sure it happened. I was always determined. As a Leo, hey to all my Leos, you're very strong-willed. So I was always strong-willed, very curious, always asking questions. And she could not stand that about me. She could not stand that I was just determined. I was determined to get things done. If I set a goal to get something done, 9 times out of 10, I got it done. Now, I know I'm kind of young to have a baby right now. I know I'm not in the best situation either to have a baby. But didn't you have me at 18? Didn't your mom take you in when you had me and you had nowhere to go? Didn't that happen with you? Did your mom force you to give me up for adoption? Did she ask you to give me up for adoption? Or did she allow you to stay in her house with me until you got yourself together to get your own place? So if she gave you support, why are you throwing me out? What did I do? I mean, I understand that you don't want me to go down the same path as you, but you want me to give my daughter up for adoption? This is not my choice? And you're saying that I have no choice, that I have no say-so, pretty much? I don't want to give my daughter up for adoption. I'm not going to do that. Well, if you're not going to do it, then you have to leave. Okay, that might have to be the option then. A couple more days go by and she's talking to my godmother about it. And she lied to my godmother saying that I said I was looking for a family to adopt my daughter. I never even told her that. And of course, I didn't really have a phone then. You know, my mom made it very hard to be able to communicate with people. So I didn't have my own phone. It wasn't like I could pick up the phone and talk to my godmother and be like, no, that's not, I didn't say that. Because my godmother thought that I was looking for a potential family, she had already knew a couple that was trying to adopt. First, I believe they were trying to have a baby but could not, and then they were looking to adopt. My godmama was like, oh yeah, I have the perfect family right here. You know, all I got to do is talk to them about it and blah, 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 and let's hook it up. My mom gets off the phone with her and tells me what she said. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. This is going too quick. You've already found a family? And before, I did not hear the conversation that they had. So you did what? I didn't find this out that she had lied to my godmother, that saying that I wanted my daughter to be adopted. I did not know this until after I had left. So basically, after she had spoke to my godmother, she was like, okay, so I want you to write an essay and tell me what your plans are for the next 5 years after you've had the baby adopted. I'm not going to write this essay because my baby's not getting adopted. We're not doing that. I'm not going to do that. I don't have the resources to take care of her right now. But my baby is not going nowhere. So, you know, I guess I'm going to have to leave. So that night, I had to pack my stuff up and I left. And my stepfather put my bags in the car and watched us drive off. And my mom took me to the nearest Harris Teeter in the neighborhood and dropped me off. At that time, it was like midnight and raining. At the time, I did have a cell phone and I was able to call one of my friends from Smith from school. It was band camp. And I knew that everybody was already there that was in the band. Shout out to the IIOS. But I knew that somebody was there. And I had my friend's number, and she knows who she is. I'm not going to mention it, but I called my friend and I told her a little bit what happened. But she, thank God, came and got me and took me to campus where I was pretty much homeless for a few weeks until I was able to get my room assignment for the year. And from then, I was just hopping from room to room, and I was able to eat at the calf, and that's how I got by until I got my room assignment, and I was able to start classes and start school and everything. That's just a few examples of what I have gone through, and it's a constant cycle. It's a constant cycle that is never broken until you leave. You have to leave. Your mom can no longer serve you. This situation no longer serves you. It's driving you crazy. And it's driving you crazy to the point where you get anxiety when you're near your mother, or even just if you're on a phone call with her. I get anxiety when I see her calling. Boy, when I say my heart goes through my throat. Okay, and I said throat. Yes, when I say my heart goes through my throat, because my anxiety gets so high. That's because that's just how she makes me feel. Like it's always something, it's always a motive. Every time we try to reconcile and start this relationship over, it's a motive. It's a motive. And why are you going back anyway? Are you going back to see how long it's going to take for y'all to get into an argument? Are you trying to see how long it's going to take till she say something crazy to you again? Or do something crazy to you again? What you looking for, sis? Because when I say it's not back there, it's not back there. It's no longer back there. Like, you have to figure out how to move forward. It's time to make a decision whether you're going to accept your mom's ways and be okay with the things she does and say to you, or leave. Simply break that cycle and leave. And yes, I know it is better said than done. It is the hardest thing in the world to break that cycle with your mom, because you yearn to have your mother in your life, no matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how old you are. You're not too old to have your mom. And for the people that have their mom and think that, it's okay. You don't need your mom. It's all right. You grown now. You got a whole family. You're married and all that stuff. You still want to pick up the phone and ask your mom for advice. Ask your mom for momming advice. Ask your mom to go with you somewhere. Ask your mom to have that one-on-one time. Then your parents are getting old, especially if you have kids and you want them involved with the grandchildren and you're trying to get them together because, you feel guilty that your children are not able to see their mother, and you just want to make them feel better because now you're having to explain to them why y'all are not able to go to grandma's house anymore. That's a heck of a trip right there, having to explain that to children that really don't understand. All they want to do is see their grandma. They don't care what's going on with y'all. They just know that they want to see their grandmother, and that's it. I remember when me and my mother had fell out one time, and my stepfather goes, well, if she was on her deathbed, how would you feel? How would I feel? If she was on her deathbed, of course I would feel bad. That's my mom still. Of course I'm going to feel bad, but I'm going to be okay for the simple fact that I know that I've done everything that I can to make this relationship work. Now, it takes two people to make a relationship work. And I know that I have done my best to make this relationship work. I think I've done over the top to make this relationship work. So, ball's not in my court anymore. The ball is no longer in my court. Now, she has to want it. Now she has to want to get the help for herself in order to help y'all's relationship. If she doesn't get the help for herself, then she cannot do anything for you anyway, because she can't do anything for herself. So that's not your fault. And I want to say that to you, sis, for the simple fact that I know how it feels knowing that you're thinking it's your fault that you guys are not in a relationship. No, ma'am, it's not your fault. It's not your fault at all. You are not missing out on anything. And honestly, this battle is not really between you and her. This battle is within herself. She's battling with herself. That is what I have learned through this journey, that she is battling herself. She has gone through her own pain as a child. So she has only learned that behavior, and now she is continuing that cycle because that's the only thing that she knows to do. And she's trying to pass it along to you. But no, make sure it stops with you, sis. Don't keep going back to that relationship with your mom, because at the end of the day, you're the one that's hurt. At the end of the day, you're the one that's crying all night. At the end of the day, you're the one that's depressed. At the end of the day, you're the one, God forbid, thinking about suicide because you feel like you're not good enough. Sis, you are enough. I am here to tell you, you are enough. You are enough. You are everything. You are beautiful. You are enough. Look at you. Look at what you have accomplished. Look at how far you've come. Don't you dare give up. Don't you dare give up just because somebody said that you weren't good enough. Who are they? Who are they to say something like that? They ain't nobody. Even if it is your mom, they ain't nobody. They don't determine where you're supposed to go. They don't determine your road. They don't determine your destiny. God gives you the last say-so. God gives the last say-so in everything. And there's a reason why you are going in this journey. God is going to use you just like he is using me. God is going to use you for his glory. I believe that. I believe that. So you hang in there. You continue to be happy. Continue to choose happiness. Find something that you love to do that occupies your time where you just forget about everything. Find that one thing that you love to do all the time so you can get your mind off of what has broken you. It's sad to say that your mom can break you. She can break your spirit. She has broken my spirit more than I would like to count. And I refuse to allow her to continue breaking my spirit. It's not going to happen because guess what? When she breaks my spirit, she goes home and it does not bother her. It bothers me. Then I'm bringing that home to my family, to my husband. And now I'm crying and he doesn't understand what's going on. He doesn't understand why we are the way that we are. He does not understand because he has never gone through that. He had two loving parents. No, they weren't together, but he has two loving parents where he never saw this from his mother before or his father before. No, they weren't perfect, but they were definitely supportive of him. They definitely spoiled him. So he does not know anything about what we are going through as a daughter of a narcissistic mother. He has no idea what a narcissistic mother is or what she can do or how she makes me feel or why I can't seem to come around her. He doesn't understand the anxiety that I feel when I get around her. He doesn't understand that. Only you. Only you can control that ball in your court. And because you're controlling that ball, she don't want to have nothing to do with you anyway. Because she can't control you. So I say that to say that this is constant and a never-ending cycle. And it's time to jump off the merry-go-round, sis. It's time to jump off of it. It's time to jump off. Get off of merry-go-round because you just making yourself dizzy. It's making you go crazy. You have no peace. Just everything is just happening. You're emotional and all because you're a mother. So I hope I have helped you today, sis. I hope that you do get off that merry-go-round, that cycle. Break that cycle, sis, and do what you do to make you happy. Until next time, thank you for watching.